This Palworld update is honestly a game changer for both new players and veterans, thanks to many new features and a ton of quality of life additions. I didn't play much in the last couple of months, but this update has pretty much everything I wanted them to improve. Let's start straight away with one of the coolest changes in my opinion. Until now, there was a maximum limit of 20 pals working at one base. You can now more than double that amount to a maximum of 50 pals simultaneously working at a single base, which is amazing. It might get a bit chaotic, depending on your base, but I love that they give us more freedom and possibilities now. They have also significantly increased the amount of pals you can store in your Palbox from 480 to 960. Placing and adjusting the defensive walls mostly isn't a pain in the butt now. It does work much better, especially if you want to overlap things, and they finally have a proper snapping function as well. There's a ton of new items and buildings, like the ore mining site that's finally made its way into the game. There's a new ring that greatly raises carrying capacity, and also a lock picking tool, so we don't have to worry about keys that much anymore. And that's just a few examples of the many unlockables they added. Selyne is a pal that I think deserves its own section in this video, because it's a pretty rare and also universal pal. It cannot be found in the wild as a static encounter. Instead, they have a low chance of appearing at a Meteor event. I will explain these in a second. Selyne has significant value for us, because it has level 3 handiwork, medicine production and transporting, which is an amazing combination. Now, when you see a Meteor and head to the crash site, there will always be syndicate grunts infesting the area, because they want to mine that stuff for themselves. They bring their own pals along to fight for them, and one of those could be a Selyne, and it will attack you on sight. Other than having the ability to catch a cool pal, you can also collect meteorite fragments, which can be used to craft a meteor launcher. A feature that many people have requested is an option that lets us choose which items should and shouldn't make its way into the chest. Very helpful for optimizing your base and increasing efficiency. Boss battles have gotten a little bit more interesting now, since we can now select a more difficult version. Of course, I still have to mention the Sakurajima Island, even though most of you probably know that by now. It's pretty beautiful, and what I like the most. It's not as empty or barren as some other regions. That brings us to the next addition, which are of course the new pals. I don't want to spoil them too much here, because finding them on your own is part of the fun. But I'm sure you have heard of the new Grillet Ignis, also named Grillet by the community. Then there is the new glass building set. It is gonna be pretty awesome for making accents, and like you would expect, you can actually see through it. Even with all that said, we have just scratched the surface. For example, there's a new endgame activity. Then there's a decent collection of new badass endgame weapons, new materials. There's of course the multiplayer arena if you are into PvP, and they added a raid and many balance changes as well. So yes, now is definitely the perfect time to check this out, especially since the update is free for all players owning the base game. Feel free to drop your favorite changes and additions in the comments.